Young Ambassador Ayushi visits the Opcw, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons based in The Hague.
Good morning. I have an appointment with the Director-General.
She will have an opportunity to meet and interview the Director-General Ambassador Ahmet Üzümcü.
Good morning, Director-General Üzümcü.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for receiving me.
Let me show you my office. And I'm going to show a few photographs. This photograph with His Majesty, the King, was taken on the occasion of our 20th anniversary ceremony on 26th of April this year. There's the Crown Princess Victoria from Sweden, the Mayor of The Hague, and the Foreign Minister, of course. So let me show you the flags of member countries. These are the flags of member states. We have 192 of them. There are only 4 countries which are missing.
Your Excellency, which are these 4 countries which are not party to the Opcw yet?
These are Egypt, Israel, South Sudan, and North Korea. So we are making every effort so that they can join the Opcw as early as possible.
Thank you.
When the ambassadors come first to The Hague, they, of course, present their credentials to the King, and after they do this, they come here to present a letter of accreditation. Let me show you the Nobel Peace Prize medallion that I had the honor to receive in December 2013 on behalf of the organization. So we received it on 10th of December in Oslo. This is the motto of our organization, which is working together for a world free of chemical weapons.
Director-General Üzümcü, what is your main role as the Director-General of the Opcw?
Director-General has the role, in fact, of implementing decisions taken by the states parties and oversee the implementation of the convention. I am heading a staff of 460 members. Most of them are experts, inspectors, and other experts. And we have the role, in fact, to verify the implementation to make sure that obligations from the convention are fully implemented by states parties.
Your Excellency, what would you say are the functions of the Opcw in today's world?
The Opcw is based on a disarmament and non-proliferation treaty. The main goal has been to eliminate the existing stockpiles of chemical weapons under the verification of the Opcw. This has been very successful. Now the level of destruction is 96%, and we have 192 states parties. And for the future, the focus will be the prevention of re-emergence of chemical weapons. And through these activities, the Opcw is aimed at contributing to global peace and security. That means that we want our societies, our people, do not feel the threat of use of chemical weapons in the future.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the challenges which you face within this profession?
The most difficult one was the mission in Syria. We were tasked to verify the removal of Syrian chemical weapons outside of the country and their destruction elsewhere. This was very challenging because of the conflict, a civil conflict in this country. We had to deploy our staff to make sure about their security and safety, that they were not harmed, and this kept us awake for a while.
Are there any particular problems or issues which you have not been able to deal with until now?
Of course, there are issues that I wish we could deal more efficiently and effectively with some concrete results. And because of several missions in Syria, we were not able to address them fully. One of them is, in fact, to enhance the capabilities, technical capabilities of the organization. We are now moving ahead with a project to expand our laboratory, which is located in Rijswijk. We want to equip it better, as well as to enhance the human resources in this laboratory so that we can support similar facilities in our states parties.
Could you tell us something more about the election process? How exactly does a person become the Director-General of the Opcw?
I can tell you what happened in my case. In 2009, when the position of the Director-General was announced to become vacant the year after, I applied for this position. Of course, my government supported my candidacy. I have been a Turkish diplomat for the previous 34 years, and I campaigned for that position. I came here to make presentations, as other candidates did, at the Executive Council. And in the end, there were some polls, actually 5 rounds of polls, during which I was the leading candidate. And at the end, I was elected by consensus by the state parties.
Excellency, are there any particular goals which you hope to accomplish before you hand over the reins to your successor?
My second term is expiring next year in July, so I have another 10 months. And as my predecessor did, in fact, I want to ensure a smooth transition. This organization has been successful and has served the interests of the state parties for the past 20 years now. And I am sure it will continue to do so in the future. And I'm sure that my successor will contribute to the achievements of the OPCW.
A high-level delegation representing the OPCW Executive Council, led by Ambassador Sheikh Mohammed Bilal, visited the People's Republic of China. Together with Director-General Ambassador Ahmet Üzümcü, assessed the status of efforts to destroy chemical weapons abandoned by Japan during the 1930s on Chinese territory.
Excellency, you told us that you visit different countries which are party to the OPCW as part of your work as the Director General. Could you give us an example of this?
Within my role as Director General, I have also the responsibility to visit countries, either to be present at conferences to address the different audiences, or accompany some ambassadors, as I did, for instance, in China. There were members of the Executive Council. We went to Beijing and to a destruction site in northern part of China. There is a very big destruction facility which was in fact established, built together between Japan and China to destroy the chemical weapons abandoned at the end of the Second World War by Japan on the Chinese territory. So this operation is underway, and it's being done very successfully in cooperation between Japanese experts and Chinese experts. And we were able to witness this cooperation on the ground. But in addition to that, of course, I had some bilateral contacts with senior Chinese officials in Beijing.
There have been allegations about the usage of chemical weapons. However, the OPCW has failed to identify or punish the country in question. What do you say about this?
The OPCW's mandate task given by the state parties has been to determine whether a chemical weapon was used or not, and especially on Syria, more recently, for the past 3.5 years, we had established a fact-finding mission whose task was to go to the sites, to take samples, to interview people, victims, witnesses, and to see whether indeed chemical weapons were used as it was alleged. And they have found in several cases that chlorine was used as a weapon, and more recently, a nerve agent, sarin, was used somewhere called in Khan Shaykhun in northern part of Syria. But our task is limited to this, and there is another mechanism established by the UN Security Council, the Joint Investigative Mechanism, whose mandate is to identify the perpetrators of those attacks.
Do you believe that the identity of the OPCW has changed over the past 10 years?
I think it has changed somehow. I mean, this organization has been established following the adoption of the convention, Chemical Weapons Convention, negotiated for 20 years in Geneva. And this has been established as a technical organization. I think it will remain a technical organization. But what we had done over the past few years also had some political consequences, inevitably, especially when one looks at the Syria mission. We were aware that there would be some political sensitivities and so on, and we acted very carefully. We kept our impartiality, neutrality, our technical character, and we made sure that everything we did was science-based with the necessary evidences Therefore, I'm really, I should acknowledge here the professionalism of our staff, which in fact ensured the successful delivery of our mission.
Could you tell us a little bit more about how exactly you would reconcile any dilemma which would arise between a technical issue or a political issue?
The Secretariat and the Director-General, as well as the staff in general, need to remain impartial, neutral, technical. Of course, when there are some political implications, it's up to the state parties to interpret them or to comment on them. And as the Secretariat, we of course acknowledge the criticism that the state parties may wish to make, and if they are aimed at improving the work of the Opcw, we receive them positively and we take them on board. But the main principle should be that the organization continues to be a technical organization.
And what about your own personal future, Director-General Üzümcü?
As I said, my term is going to expire next year in July. And I think I was able to have a lot of experience here at the organization. I want to share this experience with the younger generations, perhaps giving some lectures at universities, working in some think tanks. I think it might be useful to learn more about the Opcw, its achievements, and to use this example in similar other processes.
Is there anything which you would like to add to this interview?
Indeed, I want to just tell you share my views about the future of the Opcw. And for the past 20 years, it has been able, in fact, to deliver and meet the expectations of the state parties in terms of the elimination of the existing stockpiles of chemical weapons. But I believe in the future it will be relevant in view of the current threats, especially the terrorist threat. And looking at the situation in Syria and Iraq, we have seen that the terrorists have already used chemical weapons, and we need to, in fact, task this organization as a platform to exchange views about this, to share best practices, and to try to counter the chemical terrorist threat.
Thank you for having us here today and for talking to us.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for watching Diplomat TV.